Welcome everyone to the online lab sessions. Though it is unfortunate for all of you to have these sort of lab sessions are basically as for the first class itself. But since rather focusing on the situation right now and the current scenarios everywhere, so these are the only probable possibilities to have the practicals through this particular method or mode. But expecting the situations to get over and you will be carrying on the experiments for personal itself. So, but till that time, be patient and let's rather focus on the lab sessions itself. So in the first class today, I will be discussing regarding the first the part of the syllabus and definitely the introduction rather to the group analysis, the inorganic section group analysis. That will be the introduction to that one. So this in the first class, it will be an introduction, followed by in the second class the practicals will be carried out with the definitely with the chemicals itself, the demonstration of the cations and the identification of the cations itself. So let's move on to the analysis and the rather um, the group analysis itself straight away, uh, whether how the groups are analyzed and what are ions present in the groups to that particular section.
Good morning, students. So, welcome. This is probably the first laboratory class, rather the practical class with you all. And interestingly, and this first class is a level practical session, but this is virtual. So we never thought that probably this sort of interactions will take place between you and us with the practical sessions, but can't help it, unfortunately. So let's start with the practical classes. The first thing I'm going to discuss, that's one with the syllabus of your class. Syllabus, what you are having this time. Not rather this time, what you are having in the syllabus of practical. Okay. Alright. So let's, some of you might be familiar with the syllabus. It is possible that some of you might be familiar with the syllabus. Some of you may not be. So today I'm going to discuss about group analysis, syllabus of group analysis. This group analysis means what group is? Identification, that is identification of cations. I'm not going to focus on anions now, I'm telling you. I'm just going to focus on cations now. And since cations are only having groups, anions, remember this, anions are not having any groups. Anions are not classified in terms of any groups or any sort of sections. But cations have been classified in terms of groups, and there are groups for cations only. It starts with the group. Okay, so I'm going to shift over to my left slightly more. So I'll not write over here, it will be better to understand for you all. So start, the first group is, this is group 0. It starts with group 0. Alright? What is there? What we are having in group 0? Which cation? We are having group 0, NH4 plus. This cation belongs to group 0. Then we are having group 1. Then we are having group 1. So altogether there are total 6 groups. The first is group 0, then it's group 1. Group 1 you are having Pb2 plus. Only this cation. Only this cation you are having in with group 1. Though there are other cations also in group 1, but that are not in part, that is basically not a part of your syllabus. Alright? So only Pb2 plus belongs to your syllabus. Only Pb2 plus from group 1. Moving on to now group 2. Sorry. Moving on to now group 2. I'm writing in words rather. So group 2. What we are having in group 2? Which cations we are having? In group 2 we are having the first, this is Cu2 plus. Cupric. This is cupric ion. Alright? Cu2 plus. And once again Pb2 plus. These two cations are there in the syllabus of yours from group 2. So Pb2 plus in group 1 also, in group 2 also. Rest of the cations are not there. Moving on to the next, we are having group 3. What we are having in group 3? Group 3 we are having Fe plus 3, ferric, plus 3, aluminium, Cr plus 3, chromium. These three are there, sorry, but these three cations are there. Chromium is not there in the series. Chromium is not. Ferric and aluminium, these two are there. Chromium 3 plus belongs to group 3, but chromium 3 plus is not there in the syllabus. Alright. Moving on to the next group, we are having group 4. The cations of group 4, all the cations are there in the syllabus. What are they? Zn plus 2, Mn plus 2, this is zinc, this is manganese, Mn2 plus is manganese ion. So manganese, Mn2 plus. We are having cobalt, CO2 plus, and we are having nickel, Ni2 plus. All these 4 cations belong to group 4, and all these 4 cations are there in your syllabus. Clear? Moving on to the next, we are having group 5. Group 5. What is there in group 5? We are having calcium, Ca plus 2. We are having strontium, Sr plus 2. We are having barium, Ba plus 2. All these 3 cations are also there in your syllabus. Then the final group we are having, that is group 6. What is there in group 6? Group 6 we are having Mg plus 2, only magnesium. With group 6 there are, you may find in some books or on the internet also that the group 6 you are having with magnesium, sodium and potassium also. Sodium potassium ions are not there in the syllabus, excluded. So only Mg2 plus is there in your syllabus. So this is how the categorization or the different groups of cations are there, and all these cations are there in your syllabus, which we will be doing one by one. Now the question automatically comes that how we are going to analyze this. So many cations are there. This is a general question, obvious, that how we are going to analyze this. Okay, how we are going to analyze this. Okay, so let's start with that. Definitely there are reagents, specific reagents, which will give us the preliminary information that whether that particular group is present or not. Okay, that particular group is present or not, that information we are going to get from those particular reagents. So whenever you will be carrying out these experiments, you're never going to mix up those reagents. You'll add sequentially and automatically you'll get the positive result if those particular cations of that particular group is present or that in that particular salt. Okay, let's go on with the group reagents. Okay, so now we are having with group 0. Group 0, no such rather prominent reagents, but still we are having NaOH. Mostly with group 0, we carry out dry test and wet test later. Wet test. We are having dry test. This is wet. Okay, WET, wet test. So dry test and wet test. What is dry test and wet test? Dry test is we will hit something and then we will get the result. Wet test is we will perform the experiment not with solid samples. We are going to perform this experiment with solutions. So the conclusion with dry test, the conclusions will be from solid samples. Using solid samples, we will perform dry test by solid samples. And what about wet test? We are to use sample solution. We will perform wet test by sample solution. Okay? With sample solution, we will either go with sample solution, definitely. With the sample solution, there are other reagents by which we will going to confirm. From wet test, from dry test, using the solid sample, we will heat it, or we can use some acids over there, and whatever the results we will get, we can get a preliminary, or we can get the idea of what cations are present over there. But we cannot confirm that. That's not a, so dry tests are never considered to be as confirmatory tests. Remember this, dry tests are never considered as confirmatory test. So dry tests are, sorry, I made a mistake. Dry tests are never considered, never. That word, yes, this one. Remember this word, dry tests are never considered as confirmatory tests. So please during the examination time do not write dry test as confirmatory test. Alright? So now, coming to this one, today we are going to perform one experiment, or rather before going to that, okay, I'm going to shift you towards my left so that I can write with the reagents. First one is NaOH. With group 1, the reagent is dilute HCl. With group 2, the reagent is dilute HCl plus H2S. With group 3, it is NH4Cl followed by NH4OH. The fourth, we are having the same NH4Cl plus NH4OH plus H2S. These are group reagents actually, alright? This one, NH4Cl plus NH4OH plus NH4 whole twice CO3, ammonium carbonate.
We move over here, group 6 cation analysis. We are only having the Mg2 plus cation, and this Mg2 plus cation is being analyzed. The group reagent is NH4Cl followed by NH4OH excess. We need to add excess of NH4OH, which is ammonium hydroxide, followed by Na2HPO4, which is actually called as disodium hydrogen phosphate. It's called a disodium hydrogen phosphate. So these three, this is the actually group reagent of reagent of group 6 for the cation analysis of Mg2 plus. It was not mentioned in the not mentioned in that video actually. Due to some technical issues, there was a problem in the video recording in the just at the later part or the portion. For that reason, it's not mentioned over there, and hence it has been incorporated separately over here. That the group reagent of group 6 cation, that's having Mg2 plus magnesium ion, it's NH4Cl the first, followed by NH4OH the excess, and then Na2HPO for disodium hydrogen phosphate. One thing I need to mention over here, that is the way the reagents have been mentioned in the list over there, you should always add the reagents in that particular sequence. There is no point if it is written that we need to add ammonium chloride first, followed by an NH4OH, and then followed by H2S. So we need to add the reagents according to the sequence mentioned, or NH4Cl plus NH4OH only. Then definitely we need to add NH4Cl first, followed by NH4OH. We are not going to reverse the situation. That means the situation is we are not going to reverse the pattern of adding the reagent, that's NH4OH and NH4Cl. So NH4OH shouldn't be added first. NH4Cl should be added first. Okay, so the sequence needs to be maintained, otherwise the process certain experimental errors can pop up. So hence the reagents which are being mentioned over here, we need to remember, we need to memorize these reagents, we need to rather remember the reagents, and followed by when we will be doing the practicals, we need to add these reagents accordingly and sequence wise. All right, so that's all for today's class, or rather online lab session classes. We'll catch you up with a experiment. That means the demonstration of the group analysis. That means identification of the group cations. Followed by, definitely we can move on to the confirmatory tests also, and the experiments will follow up simultaneously and sequentially. So that's all for today's class. We'll catch you up in the next experiment with the next class. Thank you.